Hey guys, this is Late Model Automotive, and this is a L8T 6.6 swapped Gen 4 truck. This is actually a 2008, which would be the Gen 4 5.3 that came with this thing factory back in 08. And so this is actually a buddy of mine's truck, and he bought this thing brand new. He'd never done anything other than when he got it lowered. No engine modifications. First thing we did was swap it out with a Gen 5 6.6 L8T. The E38 computer actually does everything this thing needed except the direct injection. So it's only running off port injection. So everything went really good with this swap. We did have to make a custom exhaust, but it's got Kooks headers, a Cammotion Titan 1 camshaft. It's running a stock converter. The drivability on it's great. No issues. The only thing we had to do custom to make this work is the engine mounts. So that's it. Everything else fit in there. We're actually running the factory 5.3 Gen 4 intake. ICT Billet makes cathedral port adapters to a Gen 5 engine, and so we utilize those, and they worked out great. We had to clearance a few things up top because the engine is up, well, the spacers made the intake up higher than the factory. The power steering pump, the hoses, we just modified it a little bit, bent it a little bit, and it actually works with the L8T GM Chevrolet Performance accessory drive kit. So I'll give you guys the part number on that too, because that is really nice kit from GM, and you could put that on any Gen 5 engine, I believe, and that will work for swaps, and into it if you wanted to put one in an older truck. So I'm pretty confident this is the first and only 6.6 L8T Gen 5 that has been put in a Gen 4 truck like this. I'm pretty confident this is the only one in the world. So there is that. I'm sure somebody else has swapped a Gen 5 in one of these at some point. The main benefit of it was it's a big cubic inch engine, and for what you were going to buy this from Chevrolet or GM, it's actually a cheaper option than going with an LS3. So he was going to have to get headers and exhaust, a cold air, all that stuff, and a camshaft, all that stuff anyways. So really the biggest expense difference was the engine mounts. So if you can get around that, then it is really a nice option. It has really good torque. This thing put 380 horsepower to the tire with a small camshaft that has stock drivability characteristics, and he's actually getting, without E85, his mile per gallon is the same, if not a little bit better than it was with the factory 5.3. So that's really hard to beat. There was an issue with the oil pressure sensor, so we're going to have a clip on that here in a little bit and show you what we did on that. We actually used a Duramax oil pressure sensor, and it fit on the factory location up here on the Gen 5 L8T engine. So I'll show you guys that here in a little bit. Other than that, we did an E85 conversion from Dsx Tuning, and their kit is really nice. It plugs in up here to the factory rail, and you plug it into one of the coils, and that's where it gets its power and ground. You wire it into the ECM for the ethanol content signal. So that was a really good piece. But yeah, even we got an upper radiator hose that was for a factory L8T truck. That fits up here real nice. The factory, all the other factory hoses are what came on this truck, so they're not actually made for a Gen 5, but they actually work correctly. He had the AC lines made by another company, and so everything works on as far as that goes with the factory AC compressor that came with this GM Performance kit. Other than that, yeah, the L8T or the ICT Billet spacers made it so we could use the factory intake. So that made it, you know, an easy choice for us to go ahead and run that for now. There is some talks about maybe going supercharged on this later, so we're actually going to be putting a 4L75 transmission in this. So we're going to have another video for you on that. We're going to do a Circle D converter. We're going to go with their smallest stall, which is actually about 300 RPM more than the factory one. So he's still going to have very good drivability with a better converter. So I think that's it. Yep, that's it. So we'll get to it, get this 4L75 unloaded, and we'll go from there. If you guys have any questions about this, give me some comments. And as always, please like and subscribe, and we'll get you more information on this. Thank you.